Hello Internet Allies, how you doing? So a common trait of autistic people is that we have very intense special interests, and I feel like that is definitely true for myself. I have plenty of them and have also had plenty of them as well. And today what I want to do is talk about some of my more like temporary, sort of maybe even questionable special interests, shall we say, over the years, like from my childhood, that aren't really necessarily special interests now, but at the time I really loved them. So here we go. So the first special interest that I'm going to talk about is YuGiOh. It's time to do. Yeah. So I think I was really into YuGiOh for a while. So I want to say this is from about 2003, 2004 to about 2007, 2008, I would like to say. And I think a friend at the time introduced me to it, and I was like really fascinated by YuGiOh after that point. So I was really interested in the YuGiOh TV series, the YuGiOh card game. I liked all the characters, the monsters. If I'm being honest, I think Yugi was probably my first ever man crush on a male fictional character, shall we say. But that's by the by, like Yami Yugi, I mean, not like normal Yugi. But there you go. Yeah, I did have a bit of a crush on like Yami Yugi, to be fair. Some might think I took my Yu-Gi-Oh obsession a bit too seriously, but the thing is that it's Yu-Gi-Oh, like the show itself takes itself way too seriously at times, I think, from what I remember. You know, sort of like treating the card game as if it's like a matter of life and death, or even worse than that, your soul will get banished to the Shadow Realm. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it still holds like a special place in my heart, Yu-Gi-Oh, to be honest. Like, you know, I like sometimes seeing like people reference it in pop culture and everything and whatnot. I was thinking, oh, I liked that show, or I liked that thing once upon a time. But yeah, I think the reason why I kind of went off Yu-Gi-Oh maybe was because like the fact that the show took itself way too seriously, and I think like the card game got quite complicated after a while, I felt, as well, and it was really hard for me to like keep up with it. They introduced like white cards, they introduced black cards, and I really had no clue what they did. It was just so hard to keep up with it, and I had to like keep on changing my deck to keep up with the game and everything and whatnot, and it was just quite difficult for me to keep up with it, to be honest. But I'll say this, if you do like Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, that's fine, you know, I respect that and whatnot, because yeah, like it was quite a fun card game, and I just remember playing it with my dad sometimes, and also I would kind of put Yu-Gi-Oh cards in people's birthday and Christmas cards and whatnot. That'd be fun. Even if they didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, or weren't really into it, but sometimes they have pretty pictures on them. God, I went on quite a bit about Yu-Gi-Oh, didn't I there? Because like, you could kind of tell it was a special interest of mine. So another one of my special interests, which probably is a bit more questionable now, is the X Factor, or just sort of like reality shows or talent-based reality shows in general. Kind of thing. You know, I used to love the X Factor. Like, you know, I would be one of those people that would actually like end up like calling in and voting for like whoever my favourite acts were. And I think when I was younger, when I was little, like when the X Factor first started, I actually did want to be a singer. Not because of the show, but like I did want to be a singer when I grew up, kind of thing. And I think it even got to the point where like my dad ended up like writing a letter, like a draft letter to Simon Cowell, like for when I might have been interested in applying for the show when I was like old enough, like when I was like 16 or whatever. But yeah, I think at that time I didn't really have a lot of confidence when I was 16, and also I don't really think I wanted to be a singer at that point. You know, I think I was more into sort of, you know, sort of working on creative side of gaming or whatever. You know, I really love my video games and stuff. I don't know why I like the X Factor so much, but yeah, I guess it was people who wanted to be singers, like, you know, generally quite people who live quite normal lives, wanting to, you know, have a career in music and stuff. You know, and that's kind of like what I wanted to be when I sort of first started watching The X Factor, to be honest. I mean, right now I probably don't have a lot of musical talent, but you know, it would have been cool if I did, to be honest. I always joke that, oh yeah, I could have been in like One Direction or whatever, you know. Even though I don't think the show has really aged that well, I think it's quite obvious now, like thinking back to when I did watch it, that they were exploiting a lot of people and harming a lot of people's mental health and public image and whatnot. There were still some quite golden moments on that show, and I think one of my favourite ever performances I remember was when it was the final one year and Alexandra Burke ended up singing with Beyonce, and that was just the most amazing moment, like, you know, on the show. I think that's when the show peaked. I think it kind of went downhill from there, to be honest, but there you go. And also because it was a time when like a lot of people watched The X Factor. It was like one of the most popular shows in UK back in the like 2000s. Like, you know, you got like everybody talking about it as well. So, you know, so it was kind of like fun to like compare notes to kind of see who people liked and whatnot and who they were supporting. However, sometimes I do think that when I would speak to my cousin or my auntie about like who I was rooting for in the X Factor, I think sometimes they would take their opinions a bit too far. So yeah, so you just gotta be respectful of people's opinions, really, to be honest. So around that time when I was kind of obsessed with the X Factor and YuGiOh and everything, like you can probably see behind me on my screen, you know, I was also pretty obsessed with like High School Musical for a time. So even though my friends at the time and my cousin really didn't like High School Musical and teased me a lot about liking High School Musical, I still really liked High School Musical at the time. I don't know why I liked High School Musical so much, but I think it could come down to the fact that I thought some of the songs were very catchy, and also I did think Troy Bolton was kind of this like good role model, like this kind of very idealized character. Like, you know, he seemed kind of perfect and everything, whatever. Like, you know, he was this like popular, attractive, you know, pretty generally all around nice guy kind of thing. I think that was just like all stuff I really wanted to be at the time, you know, especially at high school sort of thing. So there you go. But I think looking back now, I realised that the movies aren't necessarily the best or most realistic like adaptations of the high school experience, especially in Britain. But I do think that some of the songs are still quite catchy. You know, I think my favourite one is Fabulous, to be honest, by Sharpay. Like, you know, that song is absolutely fabulous, to be fair. I do think that like they do repeat like plot points and character developments like a lot throughout the three movies, which was a bit frustrating and whatnot. You know, you want the characters to sort of have a bit more of like a different story, a bit more of a different structure to the songs and the storytelling and whatnot. Because you have like Troy's existential crisis song, you've got Gabriella's mopey breakup song, you've got Sharpay's I Want song, then you've got the sort of ensemble song and whatnot, and then you've got the one where like Troy and Gabriella like kiss and make up song kind of thing, and then you've got the high school spirit song and everything, you know. But I will say that I'll applaud the third movie for kind of going into the theming of sort of people thinking about what they want to do after high school, because I've not really seen that in a lot of high school movies, to be honest. You know, I think a lot of the high school movies I've seen are kind of focusing on like the here and now kind of thing. Yeah, but at the same time there's other things in the High School Musical movies that aren't necessarily that realistic. For example, you know, in the first movie, you know, the entire school freaks out basically because they find out that some people have more than one hobby. You know, I do find that a bit ridiculous, to be honest. But yeah, even though I was teased for liking High School Musical, I can kind of see the point of the people that tease me, to be fair. You know, I don't want to say I was like bullied into not liking High School Musical, because that's not really right. I think I kind of like came to that realization on my own that like, you know, High School Musical probably wasn't for me, to be honest. I wasn't bullied for liking High School Musical because I didn't really feel like even though I was teased for liking High School Musical, like, I don't think people were like attacking my character or anything like that. You know, people didn't think any less of me for liking High School Musical, and also at the time it didn't really necessarily put me off liking High School Musical. But yeah, I think just looking back, I just felt like, you know, some of the plot points and whatnot, you know, do seem a little bit daft and a bit sort of far-fetched. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know some of the things that you used to be interested in. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.